you think of some of those ideas?
I'm taking copious notes here. So I agree with everything you've said, and I welcome everything you've said, and I will definitely take it on board.
I think that's wonderful. Hey, friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. Today, I've got something really special for you, an honest and heartfelt coaching call with Vicki, a casual relief teacher, or a CRT as they say in Australia, and what we call a substitute teacher here in the States. Vicki has been teaching in different capacities for over 30 years, starting in primary and secondary levels, and transitioning into what she does mostly now, which is teaching English to adults. So she brings a rich perspective and a real depth of experience. But like so many of us, she's feeling frustrated, especially when it comes to her work as a CRT, dealing with disruptive elementary age students and those attention-seeking behaviors that can just leave us feeling more like crowd control than an educator. What I love most about this conversation is Vicki's openness. Even after 3 decades in the classroom, she's still willing to pause, reflect, and consider new strategies for approaching tricky behavior and building classroom connection. Even in her unique role as a CRT, where building long-term relationships is really tough. So this coaching call is such a great example of the power of taking time to talk things out, gain a new perspective, and develop a simple plan with real follow-through. Because sometimes just that little mindset shift or that one good strategy can help you to reset not just your classroom, but your outlook on teaching altogether. And yes, of course, because I believe in accountability and support, I checked back in with Vicki a week later to see how things were going. That's the beauty of this kind of coaching. It's teacher-centered, it's empowering, and it's rooted in some care and connection among us educators as well. So if you've ever wondered, why can't they just behave, or am I even making a difference? This conversation is for you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, really good.
Good.
I joined you a few months ago,
Yes.
and I mainly did it because I love to learn, and I know that, us teachers, that we think we know everything, but we don't. We
Yeah.
don't. We don't know everything. And if you're a teacher, you like to constantly. Well, I feel like teachers like to learn constantly. Invent new ways of doing things, and unless you're like stuck in a rut and you just want to sort of get out of the business, and then you shut down. But I'm not like that. I do courses all the time. I'm addicted to courses, actually.
Well, I certainly love that about you, Vicki. So, Vicki, what is your biggest question, or maybe you have a challenge that you wanted to discuss?
I do have challenges. I do have challenges. Not so much with my adults because they're all quite sensible, but with the younger ones, like the ones that need more attention, the ones that create the disturbances in the class. So it's more classroom management and how to deal with the ones that interrupt the class. I like to give them a pep talk about how, because I do a lot of CRT work at the primary schools, and I like to tell them that it's my job to protect the education of the students in the classroom, and those who want to sabotage that or disturb everybody else's peaceful environment and education, then they should be removed. And if you want to go down that path, then you will, and I'll make sure that they'll find another space to be in, as opposed to disrupting. And I know it's a little bit aggressive. I was just wondering if there's a less aggressive way to do that, because I mean, removing someone because they're not complying, what's another way I can sort of draw them in, like a magical something to just help them comply as opposed to just removing them.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if we had the magic wand while they're sitting there?
Mm,
We could
mm,
just fix the behavior. Absolutely.
mm,
Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about working proactively with the student so that you can almost avoid it before you have to deal with it. So let's talk about that first, because of course, when you're dealing with a behavior that's really getting at you, um, you need to remember to be calm. And so making sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to be, to even say to yourself, okay, here it is, it's happening. Okay. Say to yourself, take a deep breath. You can do this, and try to remind yourself to come at that situation with some care and compassion, because you know that that student is being a nudge for a reason. And that kid may or may not, but may be doing it just to make you want to scratch that itch, right? And so keeping that in mind and understanding that your calm is going to show your leadership and your authority in the classroom. Okay. And then deal with it as you need to. But there is, like I said, something to be said about being proactive in these situations as well. Now, you mentioned that you do substitute work, right?
mm.
So you may or may not have dealt with the same kid in the past, or maybe you do. Maybe you see some of the kids again and again, right? But taking that idea of, I'm going to start this off as best I can right from the start, right? So standing at the doorway, greeting all the kids. And let's face it, we know the kids, even if we've never seen them before, we know the kids that may be a little bit of a nudge or a little bit of a challenge as they're walking in. And so taking that opportunity to not only greet each kid as they're coming in, but pinpoint the couple of kids that you think may need a little extra and start a conversation with them. And kind of like have a conversation that transitions them into the classroom with you. Maybe they walk in with you, or maybe as they're getting ready and, for their first moments inside your classroom, you're walking around and kind of checking in on kids as they maybe are doing something, and give yourself that chance to go over and start a conversation. Maybe it's, you compliment something that they have or something that they're writing or something that they're doing well, or asking them a question, how was your last class, or how's your day been going so far? Or even asking them a little bit about themselves, if especially if you may be just seeing them for the first time. So starting those conversations. And um and and I would even say, whether you're a substitute or you're our everyday teacher seeing the same kids every single day, having them do something like morning work or a soft start into the classroom that's simple and they can just do independently gives you that opportunity to actually walk around and check in with students. And some students, all they need is a hi or maybe a knock on their desk, but other students will welcome a little bit of that conversation, and that could really be the difference between that kid being a nudge and being less of a nudge, or not even bothering, or actually doing what you need them to do during the class time. What do you think of what do you think of some of those ideas?
I'm taking copious notes here. So I agree with everything you've said, and
Yes.
I welcome everything you've said, and I will definitely take it on board. So what you said about be calm, that's a big one for me. Yes, I do need to
Yes.
be calm because I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve. I do express, like if I'm surprised, I look surprised. I don't have that poker face that some people do. So come at this situation with care and compassion. That's something I can do. I can pretend, even though I don't know these children. And yeah, not so much pretend. I can embody compassion. I can and
Yes,
care.
of course you
I
can.
mean, I think deep down inside, I am a compassionate and caring person. It's just when they get me to that level of extreme frustration that it goes out the window. But but
Yes,
as
and
a
we've all
beginning,
been there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love what you said about the student just wants you to scratch that itch. Fight the temptation to scratch that itch. Yes, it's another. It's another one that I will definitely keep in mind. I love that quote. I will definitely be carrying that quote around. It don't itch, just don't itch it. Don't.
Don't itch it. Yes, take a deep breath instead.
Take a
Walk
deep breath. Yeah, yeah.
away. Take a sip of
Look, I'm
water.
also I'm also an art therapist. So I know that, when I'm in the art therapy room, I'm like this serene guru. But and the last point that you made about making a connection with children, look, I like to do that. I stop them at the front of the class, before they walk in, and I actually make a deal with them. I say, look, I would like 30 seconds of your time so that I can take the role. And if you agree to that, does everybody agree to that? And they put their hands up. Yes, yes, yes. I said, that's a small price to pay for a double lesson or a lesson, a whole
Mhm,
hour worth
mhm.
of chatting among yourselves. Like I bargained with them. So I sort of set the expectation early. And that's something I've just recently learned. And it works because you almost sign an agreement with them. And when they come in the class and they play up, I said, I'm sorry, I thought we had an agreement, just 30 seconds of silence. And that way, somehow they just sort of settle. That's my way of settling them, and it sort of almost sets the tone for the rest of the lesson. So that's something I've recently come up with. But I would love, you know any piece of advice, anything I can get my hands on
No,
before
and I
they
think that's perfect. Setting that tone is your
mm,
proactive strategy that you use,
right.
and it
Yeah.
works for you, your personality, your style, and I think that that's fantastic. And so, yeah, keep that up. I think that's wonderful. And following
Mm,
through with what you're saying and the agreement that you've done
mm,
with them at the beginning of the class.
mm,
And so I really commend you on that one.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. But I can use, yeah, keep them coming because I need more. I need more tricks. I need more tricks up my sleeve. Even though I've been teaching for 30 years. This is my 30th year of teaching.
Oh,
I
that's amazing. Wonderful.
so it's especially hard when you haven't got the connection with the students, you haven't got the content. So
Mhm.
as an art teacher, sometimes I like to bring the art aspect. That's what attracted me to your course, is that you
Yes.
bring the art element into the classroom, which I absolutely love. But with your course, yeah, I really love the bringing the active and creative aspect into the classroom. That's what attracted me initially.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe that the more of the creative and the engaging things that you can implement in the classroom, that's also going to help with some of that behavior, right? And I would even say, if you are able to, again, before these things happen, if you're able to get to those couple of students that you think may be a hard buy-in or
Mm,
are just going to give you that little bit extra difficulty, and almost, I don't want to say run it by them, but like just
mm,
give them that little insider information that, hey, did you know this is what I have planned for you? What do you think about this? Or even giving them an opportunity to make one of the little decisions that could affect how the lesson goes. Like, should I, for lack of a better thought, but when we do this project, should I have everybody use crayons or markers? What do you prefer?
right,
Just
right.
giving them a little bit of ownership
Mm,
in what
mm,
it is you might be
mm.
doing that day.
Yeah, I know what you mean about like appealing to the difficult ones and the high attention ones. Um, it only and I do instinctively do that, and I do try to start
Right.
conversation. You try to make friends with the enemy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I know that. That's my diplomatic side. But when you've given them a lot, they want
Mhm.
more. some of them get really greedy about it and they just want more and more and more because I've singled them out already. They just want more and they get a little bit greedy. And
Mm.
that's where things just turn over and flip. Yeah. Because it can actually backfire somehow.
Can you give me an example, maybe when that happened?
Well, when I know that one of the students has, sought more attention than the others, and I will engage in a conversation with that person, then they'll constantly interrupt for more of that conversation because they get that taste, their fix, they get their fix. So I'm getting all this attention from the teacher, and then they'll continue the conversation and want to have another conversation or bring up another topic and just constantly interrupt the lesson in order
Mm.
to engage with
Yes.
me on that level. So that's what I meant, or just playing up for attention. I don't know. um
Yeah, because they know that they can get it from you. So they're going to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
on getting
yeah,
it from
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've had plenty of students like that, obviously, as well in the past. And yeah, that's so interesting. Sometimes I, I don't know if this is appropriate for the age group that you do, but I actually have you probably have seen him in something, my little Splash,
Yeah,
our little
yes,
seal
yeah,
mascot.
yeah, right.
There was one kid in particular last year that I remember was like that. Oh my goodness. You give him an inch, he wants 100
Mm,
miles.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I let him hold on to Splash to kind of be the person who has something a little bit special to kind of get him a little bit off my back, so to speak. Yeah.
Do you think other students in the class might feel excluded when you single someone out and say, well, you're special. Let's acknowledge everybody that this person is special. You can hold, the trophy. And,
Yes.
does that make others sink in their seats saying, oh, he's got it, I don't?
And that's exactly what I was thinking in the back of my head too, because you
Mm,
do have, whether it's you're dealing with the disruptive kid and he's taking away from the learning of the other students, or you're showing that little teeny bit of favoritism, that also can be annoying and for the other students. So I'm glad you
mm,
brought that up. And yeah, I mean, trying to kind of like balance it out. I mean, the only remedy for that is to either, if it's the stuffy, okay, well, we're gonna pass them along, which I've also done that, and maybe put the
mm,
kid in charge if needed,
mm,
if he's like
mm,
really, really hands-on, in charge of passing it. Okay, now so and so, can you give it to this
mm,
person? That kind of
mm,
thing. Um,
mm,
but also, with all those little check-ins and things, and it's just like that constant in the back of your head, keeping in mind, are you connecting with as many of the kids as you can in your time that you have?
Yeah, but the connection, yeah, that's my point is how do you connect with 24 students or whatever plus? Mm.
I know that is hard. And I remember thinking when I was doing substitute teaching before I got my first job that it was the single hardest job on the face of the planet because
Oh
of that.
God, I'm so glad you agree with me
Oh my
because it's
gosh,
so hard, isn't
absolutely.
it? Yeah,
It's very difficult.
yeah, yeah.
It really does come down to the fact that you aren't able to make that connection. Um,
Mm,
so, just being able to do the little things. I mean, here's the bottom line, that no matter what, if you're putting your heart into it and you're making the effort to make those little connections, something's happening. There's not a day that goes by that you're not making a difference to someone in some way, whether it's a small way or a big way. Like that kid that came up to you out of nowhere and said, "Hey, miss, do you remember me?"
mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
those
Mm,
those are the things that are happening and that we sometimes don't even realize are happening, but they are. And I feel like we need to always remind ourselves that if I've put in a good day, if I've done everything I can, I know I've done something. I
mm,
know that I've made a connection with at least one kid something good has come out of this day. And so I really feel like you need to give yourself credit and remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're
Mm.
right. It's not going to go up in lights. It's not going to go up in lights for you as a CRT. It's not going to go up for lights for, a teacher that's there every single day either. So, yeah,
Right.
you just got
Mm.
to remind yourself of that.
Mm. Oh, thank you so much. I love your work, and
Oh, thank
just
you.
such a positive and beautiful message you're sending out to teachers, and teachers that teach teachers are even more special than teachers.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Wasn't that a powerful conversation? What I loved most about coaching Vicki was her openness. After 30 years of teaching, she's still willing to pause, reflect, and try something new. And that kind of mindset, it's exactly what leads to real change. Because let's be honest, when you're dealing with constant disruptions, attention-seeking behaviors, and that exhausting sense of classroom chaos, it's easy to feel stuck. But like you heard today, you can shift things. You can hit reset, and you don't have to do it alone. So, what's next for you? Well, join us in the Classroom Reset, a teacher-centered group coaching experience where we focus on bringing calm, creativity, and connection back to your teaching. You'll learn simple arts-integrated strategies that help you manage behavior, boost student engagement, and enjoy walking into your classroom again. And you'll get all the benefits of personalized coaching baked right in. This is not a huge overhaul. It's not adding more to what you're already doing. It's a refresh, a renew, a reset that's just for you. So if today's conversation sparks something in you, if you're ready to stop just surviving and start enjoying teaching again, head over to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset, or you can check the link in the show notes too. I'd love to walk this journey with you. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.